The Clown Murders, 1976. Now, this is a Canadian horror, suspense, mystery, thriller, and mostly known for being one of John Candy's earliest film appearances. He plays a pretty big role in this. And I'll get into his character in a little bit, but let's set up the premise. So it gets you going the first 20 minutes. It's a setup for a costume party, a Halloween party for adults. And it follows these four lifelong pals, these guys that are in their 30s. And they scheme to kidnap one of the characters' ex-girlfriend, just as a simple prank. And it's a really desultory type of scheme that they dream up, where they're like, hey, this woman, she's already married to this asshole type of guy. They're both real estate agents, either that or they're selling their farmhouse, and the deal's closing at midnight on Halloween. And so their attempt is to squander the deal by kidnapping her and not letting her sign over the deal. And so they take her to this isolated barn, and it really just goes aimless from there on. It's just a series of quandaries and dilemmas, like, oh hey, we got trick-or-treaters at the end of the driveway, and they have to get gas, and the only way to get gas is in town. And as you imagine, they all just start bickering amongst each other, and it's a lot of grievance in between the friends, because they've known each other forever, so they have a lot of resentment, and that kind of boils up when they're in this tough situation. So two of the guys get tanked, and they end up locking the ex-boyfriend into the chicken coop into the barn to isolate him from the woman. Then out of nowhere, John Candy's character, who ends up getting picked on the whole movie for his gluttony, they end up putting him on watch for the woman, and out of nowhere, the woman just has sex with John Candy for some inexplicable reason. You think that it's just like a ploy to like seduce him and leave, but she just really like enjoys it. And then she has like a cigarette and a shower and a candlelit shower afterwards. And one of the characters of the guys, you know, when he gets tanked, he's like a loose cannon. He's like, everyone has one of those friends that when they start drinking, they just start going crazy and get belligerent. And so he starts quarrels with all of them, and he ends up, Candy's end up blowing his head off, and not really, but actually blowing him up. You do get to see a chicken get its head cut off in this movie, though. That's a plus. You don't get to see animal deaths or animal cruelty in modern movies. And I guess this is what happens. It's one kidnapping. Everyone knows that there's not that much murders in this up until the last 15 minutes, where this clown shows up, and I think it's the farmhand that they show earlier in the movie. He's the one who chopped the chicken's head off. I think everyone at the party's dressed as clowns, and the farmhand ends up kind of like killing the people just so that she could get loose, and there's kind of like no conclusion. Like the husband shows up and the police show up, and you don't end up nothing really gets resolved, and this is why everyone really hates this movie. There's really no murder elements to it. There's no slasher elements. There's only really a shotgun involved. And like I said, most of it's just bickering amongst these friends. And so I pretty much give it a D+ overall. Hope that you liked the review, and if you want me to review any other 70s, 80s horror films, drop a request in. I'd love to talk horror with you and whatnot. This was JBM from Mr. Creepshow 9. I'm out.